All right, perfect. Thank you, Neil. Hey, what's up, John? This is Keith with Kelfus Landscaping and Tree Service. We spoke on the phone. This is me in person. I just walked the property with Neil for a good 30 minutes, and we discussed everything that you and him collectively would like to see done on the property within a budget that's comfortable, that we can get the most amount done, the best bang for the buck, basically. And so I walked around with him for about 30 minutes, and right here I'm going to compress this video down to 5 to 7 minutes, and then so you can visually and tactically see exactly what would get done for the budget. So first I said, $300 to $400, we can just come in and trim everything up real quick, clean up all the leaves, and do a general cleanup of the property. $600-700 to $1,000, that's when we start trimming all the trees and more deeply and thoroughly cleaning, and then coming in and edging out all the borders of the deeper cleaning, things like that. Then I said all the way up to $3,500 is where we're doing demolition and reconstructing landscape beds, fixing things, for instance, back here. And a quick side note, I did mention that we can't take away anything that's not natural debris, as far as we could take away trees, tree branches, leaves, weeds, things like that, but we can't take away concrete or stone or anything like that. I did say we came in at about $1,500 to $1,700. I think he said $1,645. I will send it over in a formal quote to you with a description. I can't take away that stuff, but I can stack it all nice and neat in a corner in places so it looks nice and organized. Like, I can't take away plastic pipes, but we can move rock and start putting it in the garden beds and things like that. So in the 1645, that's one thing I didn't talk about with him, is moving this rock. That was the one thing I have to. So I'm not going to reshoot the video, I'm going to keep going, but we didn't talk about moving all of the rock or not. I did say we would take some of the rock and put it in the low areas of the garden bed, but not move all of the rocks. This right here, this stump, I said it would be an extra $300 for us to grind that stump out and core it out, only because there's so much cobblestone in there, and the tungsten carbide tip blades of a stump grinding machine would be damaged if they hit the rock or fling a rock into the windows, which isn't good. So within the 1645, I can just come in and cut it as low as possible with a chainsaw, and then clean it up and shovel some of these rocks back into the bed so it looks cleaner. Also included in that, we'll be trimming these weeping cherry trees and trimming all this down, trimming that tree, and doing a light trim back here on all of these arborvitae shrubs. But he and I talked about spending most of the attention for the 1645 on the focal points of the front of the yard and really deeply cleaning everything up front, and then just doing kind of a general cleanup and trim and back, and then taking any debris that's around and organizing it. But that does include thoroughly trimming everything down nice, clean, and tight, thoroughly blowing out all the garden beds, all the little rocks that have fallen out of place, put them back, and then also bringing in a truckload of mulch after these garden beds up front are thoroughly cleaned and all the trees are trimmed, and there's nice definition back in the garden beds, and all the weeds are pulled. Bringing in a truckload of brown mulch or 2 yards of mulch, and then mulching the garden bed so it'll look nice and clean. And the reason I suggested mulch is because even if we thoroughly clean this bed and trim all the trees, it's still not going to look good or aesthetically pleasing, because without mulch just is the icing on the cake. So it does not include, obviously I'm going to rip that out, this piece of edging, but it doesn't include rebuilding garden beds or bringing in and installing edging or redefining garden beds. But it does include thoroughly cleaning everything and trimming everything and trimming all the trees. So there it is right there. I'll get back to you in the quote about moving all that rock and what we would do with it. For the $3,500, which I'd say is a lot more expensive, is where we're bringing in a machine and a stump grinder. And that's when we start digging and moving a lot of materials and getting things out of here. It's expensive to take debris off of the property that's beyond just like weeds or shrub trimmings and things like that. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. And you can click the link in the description below. And if you want to see our website or any of our reviews on Google. Thank you. It's cold out here.